Saints and Chargers yesterday from SoFi out in SoCal. Final score 27-13. Who really cares about that? Nobody does. I gave you a lot of things that I was looking for on Friday, and I was excited to sit down and watch the Saints, and I watched almost every snap. We had a 3.5-year-old who got a little bit cranky early in the fourth quarter, had to go outside and throw the football a little bit. So I can't say I saw every snap, but I saw a lot of snaps, okay? And I will give you my thoughts. And the first one is in lockstep with what I said on Friday. I said, look, you're trying to establish a running game, and you know Kamara's not going to play, so you're going to get to see some young running backs, some inexperienced running backs, some new running backs, and you've got two quarterbacks that you're going to get substantial looks to, and they need to be able to function in the offense. So for both of those evaluations to take place properly, the Saints offensive line needs to dominate. I didn't know at that point how many Charger starters would start. I didn't know how long they would play. I just know that at some point they're not going to be out there, and I figured the Saints starting offensive line would be out there in some capacity. Okay, dominate the point of attack, and let's try to get some things going offensively. That didn't happen. The Saints offensive line stunk yesterday. Now, I know you had two injuries. I know McCoy didn't play. I know there are some extenuating circumstances, but on the whole, largely with Ruiz out there, with Banks out there, with Fuaga out there, started with Penning out there, it was bad. They did not run the ball at all. They ran it 20 times for 61 yards. The long on the day was 11 from Spencer Rattler. The longest run from a Saints running back was 8 yards. That's poor. And I thought Spencer Rattler was kind of running for his life. I did not think Spencer Rattler had a good opportunity to sit in the pocket and try to get the ball down the field. I thought some of the times he got the ball out and there was some nice rhythm to check the ball down, and that's why you complete 7 passes for 53 yards. But I did not think that Spencer Rattler had time to operate the offense the way that Kellen Moore would like him to operate it. And that, to me, is so disappointing when you consider that you had some starters out there and the Chargers did go to some backup defensive linemen. So that was a huge problem. And it makes it more difficult to evaluate the quarterbacks, which I'll get to in a second. But I have to go back to this. I know your all-pro candidate didn't play in the middle, and you got Penning that's working, and you had the Clapp injury early. There were injuries on the offensive line, and I got it. But, that is supposed to be one of the strengths and the foundations of this team moving forward. And if the Saints find out that Penning can't play and you're not very good at right guard either, and Ruiz is not any good, and Banks has his struggles as a rookie, which is almost inevitable at this point, you're going to struggle to get anything done on offense because you're not going to be dynamic at quarterback. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to have a Jaden Daniels type impact on a quarterback. You need those guys to be in an advantage spot. And if you can't run the ball, which they didn't yesterday, and you can't protect, which they didn't yesterday, it's just going to be a nightmare. But I thought Rattler was okay. I thought he did okay. He missed one throw on a slant, got the ball behind, but I thought he was okay. He wasn't great. He didn't do anything special. I thought he was okay. And then Shook came out there, and you're going to see the two highlights more than anything. The first, the pick six, which was an awful read and a bad decision. You could just see it. It was one of those rare pick sixes where the ball never leaves the screen. The defense never left the screen. As he released it, you saw the corner was jumping underneath the route, and he picked it, and it was an easy get up and go score. So you're going to see that a lot, and it was bad. But the touchdown pass was very good. It was well thrown. It was the right read. Mason Tipton has been a big play guy for 2 camps in a row. He made a big play, 54-yard touchdown. You like that. But for the most part, outside of those two highlights, I thought Shook was decent. I think that's the word I would use. I didn't think he looked flustered or panicked or that. The interception was a bad read. It wasn't out of panic. And if you go back and look at Tyler Shook at Louisville, you will see panic at times. Just inexplicably bad decisions that you just can't have. And I didn't see any of that yesterday. I saw a guy that was in command. I saw a guy that was fairly decisive, and I saw a guy that threw a nice ball. Again, he had to run for his life a little bit. He had no running game to help him either, but I thought he was okay. Moving on to the rest of the team, Kendre Miller got 6 carries, had a long of 8. I thought he looked pretty good on the 8-yard run. I thought he looked pretty explosive. I liked some of the things I saw from him. And then on defense, obviously you got a great rush there from Christian Boyd to force what looked like a safety. Turned out he was at the 1-yard line. I thought that was the right call, but a very good rush there. I thought that Danny Stutzman looked really good. I was stunned when I saw the stat sheet after the game. He only had 3 tackles. I feel like I noticed all 3 of the tackles, and he's a little bit more athletic than I gave him credit for. I felt like in Oklahoma, I studied him in Oklahoma. They played LSU, and I was covering that game, and I studied that. He looked just like a kind of a thumper who was limited athletically. He looks a little quicker on that NFL field. The game moves faster, and I like the way that he looked there. Jalen Ford, I thought, had a nice game. And then, of course, Isaiah Stallbird led led the Saints in tackles with 8. Had a great tackle for loss where he was full speed coming downhill. That's a guy that I like him at linebacker, and they need some linebacker depth to step forward, and that looked pretty good. I thought the secondary was borderline great. Like, Trey Lance didn't really have anywhere to throw the ball. He was running the whole game. And I thought the Saints did a good job of covering, and I wanted to see that in the game yesterday. So there was some good. There was some not good. I'm more so disheartened by the offensive line play than I am encouraged by any of that stuff that I said. Because even some of the guys I'm talking about there, you talk about Stutzman, speak to, Christian Boyd, Mason Tipton. These guys that I'm mentioning don't feel like they're going to be huge impact guys. The guys they put out there on the offensive line are huge impact guys who have to play better. So that leaves a bitter taste from that game. But look, the Chargers are a quality defense with good defensive coaching. They were the best scoring defense in the NFL last year. Probably a good start for the Saints here to get those guys first. And hopefully they get more playing time and show some more production moving forward. I need that offensive line to gel together and to be better. They got to stay out of the training room. They've got to stay healthy, and we'll kind of see what happens moving forward with some of those guys. But they got to do a better job of blocking, because if that falters, the rest of this feels pretty insignificant, because you're not going to run the ball, can't protect the passer, you're not going to be able to complete passes, you're going to turn the ball over, and you're going to lose a ton of games. If they can't block better than what you saw last night, it's big trouble. So those young quarterbacks need help, and right now they didn't get it in the game on Sunday night.
Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.